I would like to sort of establish like a yearly Halloween party.
Cute.
You know,
Nice.
What a dad move. I love.
This
well, I
man's-
mean, I've already told you, like when when we buy a house, like I'm going to be like the annoying neighbor that has
Yeah.
like stuff
decking
and-
it out.
Yeah,
And like animatronics and fog machines and
Oh, yeah.
black lights.
absolutely.
Dad mode activated, huh?
I love
Yeah.
it. Some dads have Christmas lights. Our friend Bird has horrifying dismembered body parts hanging
Yeah.
on chains.
I want to be the house that the kids actually don't even want to come to because they're too scared.
That's good
You know?
stuff.
Yeah.
What would you envision as the like ideal? Like you do a haunted house every year or what?
I think that would be fun to do sort of like maybe like a haunted house for like a day or two.
Mhm.
And then just kind of like maybe on Halloween night, try to have it set up so that like I'm basically jumping out and scaring people.
Love it.
Doing the classic.
Yeah, a coworker of mine, she said that what she used to do is she used to dress up in like a costume that basically looked like a scarecrow. And she would have like, you know, the bowl of candy like in her lap.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, if you're walking up, like it doesn't look like a person at all. So, you know, like the kids would come up, they would like look, and then they would like grab the candy, and then she would like grab them, like sort of like that's what I'm looking for.
That'd be so much fun to just sit there, and as the kids are looking in the bucket, you're just like, you should get the Kit Kat. They're like, oh shit!
Oh my god!
They just jump up at them.
Oh
There
yeah.
are still houses that I don't go up to. Like, I don't know. Well,
you go trick or treating?
Let me show my cards. No, but there is a house in my neighborhood that decks out their entire front yard.
Right.
And I'll be honest, like walking past it, I get a little unnerved. Like, I know it's all fake. I know it's lights. I know it's, you know, plastic skeletons, but there's just like something about the energy. I revert back into that like 7-year-old version of myself. Where I'm like, oh, it's gonna get me.
Oh God.
And I very much still don't like things that pop out at me or like talk when I step on a footpad. Like Spirit Halloween, I have to actively choose whether or not when I go in there, am I going to step on the foot thing and like actually hear what the evil clown has to say, or am I going to avoid it entirely? So I'm going to need to help you set up your decorations, Bird. Otherwise, I might not go to your house.
I mean, I don't think this year it's going to be anything like that. It's more like just setting up ambiance.
Yeah. Cute.
But like, I did, I don't know if I had told you this. So like, I talked to my partner about the fact that I wanted to get a life-size version of Linda Blair from The Exorcist.
Oh God,
they have one, so you know it's like a 5-foot, you know, Reagan from The Exorcist.
Yeah,
you know that would like, I think she says
her head spins around, right?
Yeah, it's like it's an excellent day for exorcism. Like I really, I want that so badly. I've actually wanted that for a long time because I watched this like it was an old like Conan, not sketch, but like a Conan like segment where Andy Richter goes to one of Guillermo del Toro's houses.
Oh shit.
And he has a house called Bleak House. And in the house he just has all of this like horror memorabilia, and it's like really cool, and it's a really short clip, like you find on YouTube. It's really short, and one of them is he has a TV room, and there's like 2 couches, and on one of the couches is like a really like lifelike Linda Blair like giggling and like watching the TV. And I was like, I want that so badly.
That's so scary.
Not for Halloween, just to hang out with.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as a third member of your romantic relationship.
Exactly.
Polyamorous relationship with the pea soup vomiting demon. Love it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Sho-Dependent Podcast. The voice you're hearing right now is Kayla, and with me, as always, is my lovely partner, Eddie.
I need you to picture that there's some bushes.
Oh my God.
Right? And you could just see just half of my face. It's like poking out from the bush. And I'm breathing real hard.
Did you just Did you just take a shit in that bush?
My name is Eddie. How is everyone doing?
I don't know. How are we doing?
How are all the listeners out there? Huh? All 10 of you?
Okay. Can you be nice to us, please?
Holding it down. Hey, for us, that's good. 10, I'm happy
10.
about it.
Woo.
Either way. Yes, as Kayla said, welcome to another the final spooky episode for this spooky season. It's a sad time, but it's a happy time because today, have we got a treat for all of you?
Or a trick.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's a treat, but you can never really expect what happens. Today, we have another friend joining us. Now, this man, I've known this man since middle school. Back then, he was rocking the tall tees.
Oh, my God.
Sneaking Jaeger bombs in his bedroom closet. And if I'm not mistaken, at one point was called the Whiz Kid.
Oh, no.
We've gone from that back in middle school into adulthood to where now we watch a ton of horror movies. So please join us in welcoming our friend who goes by the name of Bird.
Hi, Bird.
I don't know if I should do like an eagle screech or something like that.
But... Do whatever feels natural.
Wow, that's quite an introduction.
Thank you. I did my best.
I'm very happy to be here. As you were describing you hiding in the bushes, I was thinking a lot about what the topic will be today, because there's definitely a lot of heavy breathing that happens in the piece we're going to be discussing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, to me, as we'll talk about, this is definitely one of the most iconic horror films of all time. If not, dare I say, the most iconic. Obviously, there's a ton of iconic films, but based around the season, based around the holiday, I don't know. I might just give it that title. But, Bird, welcome to the Sho-Dependent Podcast. And as we've alluded to, I think it's time that we reveal it to the people who can't read.
Oh,
what are we going to be? Hey, it's in the title.
Hey, somehow the illiterate people found the podcast. That's all that
that's
matters.
Right. They got there. They figured it out. Bird, what are we going to be talking about here today?
We are going to be talking about the classic and absolutely iconic, and I do think you can make a strong argument, the most important horror movie of all time, which is John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978.
Yeah, that's right, baby, the original. Which was funny when I went to create this doc, I was like, oh man, I have to put the year on it. When you say Halloween, we're going to be talking about Halloween. It's like, what do you mean? There's 3 different films called Halloween.
Be clear.
Which is so funny with reboots and remakes. I like it. It's like the self-titled album, but it's also, can we just get a little subtitle? Make it a little easier on us. That way we don't have to say Halloween 1978 or Halloween, whatever the fuck the Rob Zombie was.
Oh, God.
Or the newest one. But hey, we're not talking about that shit.
I mean, we can.
We can mention it for sure.
That's for later, but that movie doesn't deserve a full episode.
No. It's a meet cute baby. It's how we met this thing. So I only really watched this movie for the first time about 2 years ago. As anybody who knows me knows, I was a little baby and I was afraid of everything. So I definitely did not watch horror films as a youth. So watching this movie for the first time, I think we may have actually, I can't remember if I only watched it with Eddie or if I got to watch it with you and Bird. I can't remember, but I do remember really liking it, being kind of like, oh, this is kind of a slow burn. I was expecting it to more be like an outright slasher, but it was a lot more suspenseful than I thought it was going to be. The fashion was very nice. And I'm sure we'll get to some iconic moments and lack of outfits as we discussed today. But yeah, meeting this movie only a few years ago, it was really fun. So I'm excited to dive into it and get to talk shop with both of you guys. So should be good.
Excited to dive into a surprisingly not very bloody film. I just want to say from my meet cute, I'm pretty sure I saw this on a whim one day during high school. as previously stated, and sort of mirroring Kayla's history with horror, not much of a horror guy myself until that very important moment of Resident Evil 4, 2005.
2005, the year that lives in Eddie's mind forever.
Oh, God, what a good year. It's just like, that's when Eddie really blossomed into adult Eddie, even though I was not and very much still a child. But that's when horror took off for me. I wanted to consume so much more of it. And definitely in high school, definitely feels like one of those days where you just wake up, you see something's on TV, and you just lay in bed and are like, I'm going to watch this. And instantly fell in love. Honestly, everything it does, I think it does amazingly. And most importantly, it stays with you, sticks in your mind. And I've literally never forgotten about this movie since the first day I saw it.
I like that, Kayla, you're starting with, I saw this movie 2 years ago. Eddie, you're like, I was in high school, so like a little bit earlier, but still kind of later. So I saw this, I think, when I was around like 9 or 10 years old.
I thought you were going to say in the womb.
In the womb, yeah, exactly.
Damn.
The next Halloween movie, it's revealed that I'm related to Michael Myers. So
hey, there you go.
So I was exposed to horror pretty early. I remember watching A Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 6 years old, which, some would argue is a little too early to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I definitely remember being positively terrified that Freddy Krueger was going to come into my room.
Your father just laughing the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't care. So I remember kind of getting scared shitless, but also being really sort of drawn to horror and anything that was sort of like Halloween-y themed. I remember they still actually do this, which I think is really cool. So AMC, the AMC television channel, so they always do, like, during the month of October, Halloween themed or horror movie marathons.
Right.
And I remember I was about 9, 10 years old, just hanging out, and they were running a marathon of all of the Halloween movies up to that point. So this is pre-Rob Zombie. And I remember seeing Michael Myers on the screen for the first time and was just enthralled. I couldn't take my eyes away from the sort of blankness of that white mask, and it was scary and terrifying, but again, it was something I felt really drawn to. And I remember watching Halloween 2. Just going to touch on it briefly. I was pissed as a 10-year-old watching Halloween, that marathon for the first time, and getting to Halloween 3 and not seeing Michael Myers.
The season of the witch, baby.
I'm like waiting for him to show up.
Where is he?
And the credits roll. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what are these? I don't care about these stupid masks. Like, but so I remember, and then when it goes to Halloween 4 and he comes back, I'm like stoked again. So
big pop.
I just remember just falling in love with the idea of Michael Myers and like the image of Michael Myers really, really quickly. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about this. Like, I don't necessarily think that Halloween is like the greatest horror movie of all time per se.
Sure.
And it wasn't my first horror movie, but I think now that I'm kind of talking about it, I feel like it might have been the one that solidified a love for horror. Because I think that was the first one that I was super passionate about, and I guess made me cognizant of the fact that I was going to be a big horror fan.
Yeah.
Before we pivot, do you have any Michael on your body? Because I know you're working on a horror sleeve. Is there a plan to get Michael integrated, or Laurie, or some icon?
Yes. So I'm, I don't know, like 60% done on my horror sleeve. I don't know when I'll finish it up. It's like, get a tattoo or save for a down payment on a house. Like,
I
don't know.
It's more important.
Definitely had in the original design Michael Myers on there.
Yeah.
So I'm missing Michael Myers, Candyman, and Black Phillip. That's, I think, what I'm
missing. Yeah, absolutely. Because I know in your home you have the original poster, like framed. So I was thinking that would look really nice in your sleeve because it's Michael without it being, you know, the mask or the shape rather. But
For sure.
really cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to give you a quick compliment.
I
appreciate I love your sleeve. It's so cool.
Shout out. Yeah. And it is pretty funny because that iconic poster doesn't show who it is.
No.
But it shows that fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that tagline, the night he came home.
Home.
It's so good. That was the night I came as well.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Didn't we all?
That was my first cum,
Oh.
Did you imagine?
No.
Ejaculated for the first time watching Halloween. Is this a problem?
I mean, there are a lot of tits, so I guess it could.
No.
But...
It was only Loomis. Was who I was looking at. All right, let's.
Very attractive man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that voice.
Anyway, getting to know each other. Wow.
If we're talking Halloween, there's a couple things that have to be said. Because we've said the word many, many times, and we're going to say it many more, I'm sure. Just picture iconic, all caps, because in terms of horror, and I think in terms of just cinema in general, right off the bat, you ain't even got to see it. With your ears, you hear this music. As a young Eddie, I was like, oh my God, why does this shit slap so hard?
I think, in my opinion, because, you know, you watch an older horror movie and sometimes the scares don't necessarily make it to other generations, like they're not as effective just because of differences in what we've been exposed to. And, you know, Halloween was groundbreaking at the time, but, you know, not somebody that's experiencing it for the first time in 2022, who's seen a bunch of other things, they may not find it to be, you know, massively scary. The thing I think that holds up the most about that movie is that the score is still really, really creepy and haunting. It's an incredibly simple score that's done by John Carpenter, who is incredible and
what a king.
Does so much. He is the horror master, you know, doing so much with so little. And you know, he does it for a lot of his other movies. The Fog, The Thing is like, just a quick aside. So The Thing had a big, huge score that was put together by Ennio Morricone, who, of course,
another legend.
The legend, you know, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, right? So this really crazy score. I can't remember the exact reason why they decided not to use it. It might have been Morricone decided he didn't want to ultimately approve it for the film because The Thing was not well received when it came out.
Oh,
yeah, so instead, I forget about that. Yeah,
which is so crazy. We could talk about The Thing for days.
But
John Carpenter put together a simple score that honestly works way better because you can hear the original score for The Thing if you watch the movie The Hateful Eight by Quentin Tarantino. The score by Ennio Morricone was originally meant for The Thing.
That's wild.
And I don't think it would have worked in The Thing as well as what Carpenter put together. And I think ultimately, to tie it back to Halloween, I think it's because it's so simple. That backdrop of just a couple of piano keys. And then looking at the jack-o'-lantern at the beginning of the credits, I just think it's kind of like so stark. And when you go into a movie theater, I mean, I can't imagine watching this in 1978, but going into a movie theater and you're expecting, you know, like big, loud, sort of orchestral sounds, and you're just getting like a piano and then a little bit of synthesizer behind it. I think that's kind of jarring. Like you're expecting something big, and instead you're getting something really, really kind of small and eerie and quiet, which is a lot of the way that the movie works. It's like you said, it's all suggestion. It's nothing like, it's no big gestures. For the most part.
Right.
The thing with me, how I kind of like think of this score and just kind of the way that John uses the music to draw you through the film, it reminds me a lot of a sound that a lot of people find eerie, which is the ticking of a clock. It's just kind of like something that's ever present and you don't really hear it until you cue into it. But once you hear it, you can't stop hearing it. So it's kind of like, you know, laying in bed at night and like feeling the passage of time and just the ever present just pulse that's behind this whole movie that kind of pushes the energy through, which is really scary. But like you said, it's very simple but very effective.
I'll use this as the transition into the next iconic thing, because this movie just hits you with them back to back. Not only is that main theme so good, but obviously every other part of the soundtrack. Like, I, to this day, when I hear those three, like, da-da-da, I'm just like, fuck yeah, this is so sick, dude. Like, I'm just ready for whatever's gonna, and it's such like a good, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna equate it to wrestling.
Love it.
Which we will
We're
later.
Talking a bird. How do we not eventually pivot back
it's like,
to WWE?
It's like when you give a character a theme, as soon as you hear it, you're just audibly cued into like, oh no, something bad is going to happen. Or, oh no, they're around. And it's so much more effective than simply seeing it. Because like when you hear it, you don't even have to see who it is. It's just the idea that they're there is like, oh shit. You know, like, this is not good. Everyone's in danger now. And it just makes it so much better when you finally do see them. You're like, oh my God, man.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I think that sometimes, especially if you're like very conditioned to horror tropes and you watch a lot of horror, sometimes like an over-the-top soundtrack kind of gives things away or can kind of like, rob from the moment. And like you're saying, the music here definitely does not do that. It adds to the horror. It adds to the dread. It makes those scenes a lot more effective.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas you can watch some really big budget horror movies, which this was not a big budget horror movie when it came out.
Oh, we'll talk about the lack of budget in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Right? But like, yeah, you watch something big and it's like something genuinely scary is going to happen, but like they're tipping the bean can, so to speak, with like too much indicating with villains or what have you, but that's not the case here.
No, it's definitely not the case. You can kind of instantly see that they had to make a lot with a little, and it just shows again that genius of everyone who was on the production team, because there were so many decisions made, not only by John Carpenter but everyone involved, that made this as iconic as it is. But this opening scene is one of the all-time greats. And it does the POV.
It does, and I think it's significant for a couple of reasons. So I think it's playing on that sort of Alfred Hitchcock sort of, you're getting the gaze from the viewpoint of the killer.
Oh yeah.
And then which is really effective as it's trying to set the scene of like what's going on and you're trying to get your bearings. The other thing about it is, so when people are talking about what is like the first slasher movie, a lot of people will mention Black Christmas. Texas Chainsaw is the only one that I hear, but that's such a different thing, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Black Christmas, though, I absolutely would think is a slasher film, but so it starts off with us in a similar sort of position where you aren't seeing the killer, you're looking from the killer's perspective.
And we're hearing the breathing.
Exactly, which is that's crucial from Black Christmas. So it's starting off like that. And sometimes people will say like, well, this movie is kind of like ripping off Black Christmas a little bit, or like it borrows a lot from Black Christmas. And I think from the very beginning it becomes something completely different. I love Black Christmas. Like, I'm not trying to say it's not great, but like this is something completely different, and it does it completely differently the second that the mask is taken off and immediately who the killer is. The entire point of Black Christmas is you don't know who the killer is, and you're just kind of like, the only times you ever see him are like he's covered up in the shadows, or he's on the phone, or you're going through his perspective. It's not a situation where you actually are in the perspective of the characters, and from the very moment the killer is Michael Myers. So the moment that it goes from looking through the mask, that little clown mask, to the mask gets taken off and we're staring at people with a knife and his parents like bewildered.
Who is apparently 6. Like, Jesus Christ.
Pretty wild.
Okay.
Hey, developmentally, Michael Myers is killing it.
Literally.
He's doing a lot at 6 years old.
His gross motor is off the charts.
Yeah, I was going to say, real good grip on that knife, good hand-eye coordination.
Also,
strength.
Really, really quickly too. I this is something that's a theme throughout the movie, but it's established in the first scene too. I was watching this with my partner, and we were both kind of like, so on Halloween night, would your parents just up and leave?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't we go out trick-or-treating? Instead, like every parent in this movie is going off to some like crazy party.
Yeah. It's real confusing too.
No,
because
Eddie and I were talking about that when we watched it this time. I was like, oh, did your parents like go to Halloween parties? He's like,
no.
What the hell do you mean? Not. And I was like, oh, well, my parents did.
Well,
but they would take us trick-or-treating first and then maybe leave us with a sitter.
Halloween in Haddonfield seems very weird because we see like families going trick-or-treating at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, the sun is completely high.
Was this the norm in the 70s? I wonder. I haven't looked into it, but like the traditions of trick-or-treating are very weird.
So I actually will tell you. So my dad loves Halloween.
Yeah.
He always loved it because he loves trick-or-treating. And that's like one of the things that he actually liked doing with us was he loved taking us trick-or-treating.
Your father had things that he enjoyed? Just kidding.
Besides complaining about the New York Yankees, yes.
There you go. Okay, good.
So but he would tell me, like, as a kid, he grew up in New York, that actually, like they would leave school and immediately go trick-or-treating, which even when we were kids, we did not do that. We waited until sundown.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we were saying. It's like, and granted, obviously it was different.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much if we went during the day. Well, as you said, we know who the fuck it is right away. It's this little kid, Michael Myers. They look at him just like, what the hell? I want to take a step back, though, because when we're watching this happening, we're seeing through the eyes. They sort of pop that mask on, which I love that effect.
Very, very quickly.
It very much just like vacuums to the camera. Thump, and it's in there. One of the most realistic things in this film as a whole is how quickly these high school men nut. Because in this POV shot, we see Michael's sister with her boyfriend. Michael grabs a knife and homeboy's running down the stairs, zipping up his pants like, that was great. It's like, dog, that was 90 seconds at best.
Yeah, maybe.
Very realistic. I applaud the man. That's probably his personal best, the longest he's lasted. Also must be said that, my God, Michael's sister.
Holy tits.
Real nice.
Good heavens.
And I know that, and we've had conversations like this where we very much, or I don't want to speak for the group, but I very much do enjoy when a monster, a killer doesn't necessarily have a motive. But it kind of seems like in this first film, at the very least, it almost immediately gives you that idea of like, he really doesn't like when women have sex. And by the end of the film, it sort of feels even stronger. I don't know. Very strange, very iconic. And it's 1963. So Mike Myers and the Beatles, they're both just coming up at the same time.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I like how that, the connections your brain makes. Like,
yeah. Absolutely love it.
Wow.
Have you heard Chris Jericho's his theory as to what motivates Michael?
No. Well, Chris Jericho, look at
Chris
us.
Jericho.
Crossing over with wrestling again.
He like submitted this is like 4 or 5 years ago. He submitted like a letter to Joe Bob Briggs during the last drive-in when he was showing Halloween.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He watches that and big fan, yeah.
He basically made the argument that Michael has basically like feelings of like incest towards his sister Judith. And so when he sees Judith have sex with her boyfriend or knows that that's what's happening,
smart
that
kid.
sets off a trigger. Then he goes off into the mental hospital, the insane asylum. He breaks out, he goes back to Haddonfield, and he immediately is seeing these high school girls similar age to his sister at the time that he killed her.
Right.
And he, obviously not right in the head, he associates those girls as being his sister.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he does dig up Judith. He does put like the grave, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So that's his theory. And like,
that seems solid.
It
if you're
makes
going to give a
sense.
motivation, it
Yeah.
seems pretty good.
He doesn't like these women whoring around.
Well, and you know, we can get into like from an English perspective of like the phallic imagery of the knife. That's his weapon of choice of penetrating the body. That totally tracks. Yeah. Chris Jericho, who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk?
That's funny.
Y2J.
But what was Lori hearing when she first sees this thing?
So I don't know exactly the details of the text that they're discussing in this English course. It may be, I don't know if it's psychology and literature. I couldn't really come to a solid understanding of what the class was, but basically the teacher is having a discussion on the different elements of fate and whether or not they can be affected or changed. And as they're having this discussion, Lori looks out the window and sees Michael for the first time, which is really cool.
Does she see Michael or does she see
the shape?
They are very much different things in my mind.
Elaborate on that.
One of my favorite little fun facts that I saw after watching it and delving into it and researching all this was that in the credits, you see that there's a character credited as the Shape. And then I come to find out later that Michael Myers, the killer, the one that you see, the mask and everything all put together, even though Laurie and other characters call him Michael, the cast and the writers and everyone, they refer to him as the Shape. He's not human anymore. He's this other being that's almost like a force of nature, right? And it goes along with what Loomis says about him, because as we'll get to in a little bit, Loomis, for being a fucking psychiatrist, really talks about this human as if he's not a human.
Yeah.
Not great, but I just love that the idea that he's not a man anymore. The idea that he's transcended and become something so much more, because, again, for me, in my horror, in my killers, that's what I want. I don't want it always to be such a like, oh, here's this tragic backstory and let me give you the 5 points of why they became the way they are, and you got to feel sad for them. It's like, no, I want this thing to be just this unstoppable force. We'll talk about it later, but that's kind of why I really enjoyed Halloween Kills. And seemingly I'm in the minority there, but whatever. let's keep moving on, because we have the Shape. Things are starting out here in Haddonfield. Let's talk about Loomis, huh?
Loomis.
So when you think about, again, how this movie was shot, nobody in this movie was a name at this point except for Donald Pleasance.
Right.
And to me, this movie doesn't work if Loomis is also sort of like a newbie, untrained actor. Now, that's not to like discredit the other, like Jamie Lee is great.
Yeah.
And the characters are well cast, but it is to say that their roles don't require them to have the sort of depth of character that Loomis's role does. So if you have some, person who you just pulled their head shot off a pile, play Loomis, I think that this movie doesn't work. But because you picked somebody who has the gravitas of Donald Pleasance, he brings a needed I think authority to this movie that allows for the other characters and actors to kind of stumble along and find out what the best method is. Like Jamie Lee Curtis as an actress gets so much better, and like we can discuss the value of like the sequels, but like her presence gets a lot stronger as she has more experience. I mean, she's very young here, but Donald Pleasance, like he sets a tone here as Loomis that the stakes are real, and everybody else is kind of like, oh, you're crazy, but he sells this like inhumanity of Michael so well. So hats off to Donald Pleasance.
Is he still alive or has he passed?
Yeah, he passed a while ago.
That's what I thought.
I mean, he was old as hell in this movie.
I think his last, I can't remember if it was Halloween 5 or if he was in The Curse of Michael Myers.
Nice.
I can't remember. He's definitely in Halloween 5, but he was not in H2O.
No, damn.
So I think he died before that, which I love Halloween H2O.
Yeah, I just always think it's funny that it's H2O. It's like, yeah, it's called water. No, but I agree because it's like not only because of the man who it is, but it's just his commitment to it.
Oh yeah, he is completely dug his heels in.
Not only does it not work without his gravitas, but it also doesn't work if he didn't commit, if he phoned it in. Because from the get-go, and we can talk about it now, the way he talks about Michael is so fucking over the top. And it's just kind of like the case where I know that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like they weren't trying to disparage mental illness. It was just they were trying to make it a point where, again, this man ain't a man anymore. He's something else. But damn, does Loomis talk crazy about this man?
Yeah, he's not very respectful to his patient.
No, he's his patient.
He's also like breaking HIPAA like left and right to just like random people. It's like,
hey, let me tell you about my patient. Let me tell you his medical history, what's going on with him. By the way, I want to fucking kill him. All right?
I want him dead in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nurse being like, don't you think that you should refer to it as him?
Yeah.
If you say so.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. But it's time to meet the, as Michael would refer to them, the sluts, and then the virgin, who in horror is known as the final girl. We've got Lori and her friends, Annie and Linda. What are they all about?
They're about smoking weed and having sex.
Well, at least two of the three of them are.
Yeah. So Lori is about knitting and babysitting.
Right. So weird.
Yeah, I don't know why they made her like the most boring person they could.
Well, also, why are Annie and Linda friends with her?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, are they just because they were neighbors and they grew up together?
Yeah, maybe they're loyal to the soil, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's been day one.
I know that I was friends with people just out of convenience. You're friends with the people around you. So they're not very nice to Lori either.
No, they're definitely not. They just make fun of her the whole time and sort of force her into situations she doesn't want to be in. And that's essentially what gets her into all that mess at the end. I don't know. How do we feel about Lori in general in this first one? Because Bird, you were talking about it, how this character evolves. But how do we feel about her in this first one?
I think that she doesn't have like the sort of confidence and charisma and kind of like wherewithal that you kind of expect from some of the final girls. And I think part of that is because you say what you want about tropes of slasher movies. Laurie Strode is the first real strong established final girl, and it sets up a lot of the tropes. Laurie's very, she's incredibly sensitive, she's incredibly passive. She really is she's positioned to be super feminine in every way, shape, and form, except for the fact that she's bookish.
Yuck.
Hey,
I'm saying that's the setup of the movie, right? I'm not equating.
I know you don't feel that way,
right?
Yeah.
And so I think as I look at Jamie Lee Curtis, I see her in this movie as playing Laurie Strode more than her being Jamie Lee Curtis and making that into his character. She's playing the character that was written for her, and she's playing her well. And I don't think it's until a little later, maybe even as early as Halloween 2, that you start to see, Jamie Lee Curtis is a sensational actress, and she elevates this role because she's kind of she is kind of lame.
She's real fucking lame.
It reminds me a little bit of what happens a ton, especially in YA. Especially when it translates to film. You kind of write this bare bones protagonist that people can project themselves onto. So that's probably why she was such a, quote unquote blank canvas.
Right. I mean, she's
kind of boring to look at too.
Yeah.
Well, that
no, you're right. You're right.
That's changed throughout horror history. Is final girls, they start off as this virginal white thing, and by the end they're covered in gore with their tits out and hot.
Tank top.
But
Tank top
Lori
always.
doesn't go through that really. I mean, she's got like a lower cut button up, but other than that,
not in this one.
Like, no.
I think I do agree with you in the fact that it's kind of like she has to be the every girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girls across the country, across the world, kind of have to look at her, and I don't know. I don't want to speak to the general population, but I am, because I feel like generally most people are pretty normal. Are you living the fucking fantasy lives of the classic teenage, like, yeah, I'm fucking every weekend and I'm partying and all that? Like, probably not. You know, those are the outliers, the Lindas and the Annies, who are hella smoking weed and just all they think about is sex, and they actually have sex seemingly every night, 3 times a night, because these boys last 30 seconds. Like, that's not, most people are Lori. You gotta relate to her.
Absolutely. And the other thing is she may be lame, but she's not, it's not like we dislike her, right?
No. Yeah.
Because there are like situations where you have like the main character, and the main character is set up as somebody that we're supposed to like, but we just can't like we like Lori, we root for Lori, we want her to survive. But I also feel like the dichotomy of like Lori in comparison to Annie and Linda, for me, like, and I don't know if it's just evolved as I've like gotten more like aware and smarter.
Nice.
I'm not really rooting against like Annie at all. Like, and we'll talk about it. Like that sucks. Like I like Annie. Like,
Oh God. Yeah.
Linda, whatever. She's a bit of an airhead, but it's fine.
A little bit, yeah.
Got great tits.
Oh, nice fun bags right there.
But I will say this, like, and it's one of the things that I think is good about Halloween is that, a lot of slasher movies, especially as more and more, sequels were made for like the different big franchises, characters become disposable and you root for them to get killed. I'm not rooting for anybody to get killed in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I do care about the characters, and I'm not like rooting for Michael to like slash him up, whereas like he's fighting, Busta Rhymes, and Busta Rhymes comes
square up, dog.
I have no idea what we're talking about now. I'm lost.
Halloween Resurrection.
It's pretty infamous.
Oh God, maybe I'll have to watch it. It's so
funny. Like Bird said, with every death, you're thinking, wow, this sucks. Like, they don't deserve this. They were just trying to have fun and live their lives, and look what happened. Meanwhile, Loomis is running around in the background, and he's like, oh, it's evil.
He's gonna get you.
And you're starting to see just how evil the Shape is. And it's because you actually care about these characters. Because it would be much different if you're, again, as Bird said, if you just hated everyone, you just be like, just fucking kill him, get him out of here. I don't care. It would just be much less menacing.
Yeah.
But I think we should maybe kind of start transitioning into this infamous night that he came home, because it's called Halloween, an amazing move to call a film after the holiday and
Great
make
marketing.
It all set. And it's set in the year that it released, which I fucking love, because I'm just like, hell yeah, this is real, man. Because imagine being in 1978 in the theaters, you're watching this, you've never experienced something like this, and then you're just like, oh fuck, it's this year, dog. Like, did this actually happen? You know how dumb people were back then.
Well, I thought Haddonfield was a real place. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, Haddonfield's not real? And then we looked it up, and no, it's just a fictional town. But it's really good, and it feels like a real place. It feels like Main Street, USA.
Oh, yeah. And we got these babysitters, Lori and Annie, and shit does not go well. Before we get there, I think we do just need to introduce the sheriff that looks like Mark Wahlberg. I look at this man, and I don't see anyone but Mark Wahlberg. It's Brackett, right? Sheriff Brackett?
Sheriff Brackett, that's right.
And he is Annie's father.
Yes.
So Annie is the daughter of a cop. Mark Wahlberg, the sheriff, he gets accosted, I'm going to say, by Loomis, who just sort of, in my mind, runs up on him. It's like, there's a fucking evil guy coming into your town. We got to do something. And Mark Wahlberg's like, oh my goodness. Hey, how you doing there? You want to get like a Wahlburger? You sit down and talk about this and see what's going on. And meanwhile, while that's happening, Annie is forcing Lori to smoke weed. Is it weed? I'm assuming it's weed.
It's weed.
They're listening to Blue Oyster Cult. It's weed.
It's weed.
The music changed.
The song is so good.
It started off as tobacco and then it changed into weed. It was just very funny to me that they were driving by and Annie looks and she's like, "My dad!" And just like pulls over. It's like, Annie, you didn't have to stop. And now he definitely smells that weed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they're just like walking a little bit, open a window. Like, yeah.
That's not, you were hotboxing this essentially.
Yeah.
He caught a whiff of that Zaza. He fucking knows what's up.
I have not heard that one in a while.
Ben Tramer's a fucking legend in my book. Because Lori seems to love him. They gush about him all the time. And we never see this man.
No.
And I always just picture a god. Like Ben Tramer, he's fucking killing it.
I do not imagine a god. I imagine like a dude that was like part of the chess team in like 7th grade, but then he got like hot and then
He's a god.
No, he's just kind of like an average looking guy with cardigans.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I mean, if you want to see what Ben Tramer looks like, you can watch Halloween 2.
No. Not that Ben Tramer. It's the fictional one in my mind.
Oh my God.
It's like Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, exactly.
He only exists in my mind.
Ben Tramer, he's both alive and dead inside the house of Michael Myers. It's just fucking hilarious.
Poor Lori.
Yeah, like Lori is like, "No, Annie, like you need to call him and say you were just joking." And she's like, "You can't. You went out drinking with something Godfrey. Like he won't. Like Godfrey, he won't be back until the morning."
Yeah, it's like, God, these legends, man. And it's because they do the thing where they always say their full name.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, God, this guy's fucking killing it.
That's
He's not
such a
Ben.
high school thing, though.
He ain't Ben. That's Ben Tramer right there, guy.
But even when you guys reminisce about people that you went to school with, you always use their first and last name.
I don't know if we do.
I feel like you usually do, unless they have a nickname.
I feel like we normally do last names.
Like the high school we went to had like thousands of students. I don't imagine Haddonfield High did.
Yeah. You right.
Uh-huh. And we didn't call them their full name in the time. You do the full name later because you're like, well, there were a million Bens. We're talking about Ben Tramer.
Yeah.
Like, now, guy is a living legend as they speak.
By the way, I also imagine that like if we went to high school with Ben Tramer, we would call him Tramer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey,
what up, Tramer? We're going out drinking, right?
Tramer's coming, bro.
Oh, you know it.
Tramer's driving. There we go.
The Tramer train. Choo-choo. It's already got a nickname.
Annie. What a baddie.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing for me could have made it better was if she wore glasses. But
Eddie's got a type.
I ain't got no shame in my game.
I love her hair.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the most moxie out of all the characters. Like,
yeah, you got a little chutzpah.
So one fun fact about Annie's played by Nancy Loomis.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah, I was saying that to Kayla. I was like, look how fucking weird this is.
Annie also shows up, or Nancy Loomis, I should say, shows up in The Fog, which is, I love that movie, another great John Carpenter classic. So I was absolutely thrilled to see her again. But yeah, I mean, like, I feel like she's kind of the best of both worlds because, like, Linda, the cheerleader, is just like so ditzy and like doesn't have like a whole lot of like personality. She kind of seems like a caricature of like what a cheerleader is.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Lori is, kind of the square, and she's kind of a caricature of what like a nerdy girl might be or just a nerdy person.
Virgin.
But Amy's kind of like in the middle a little bit. Like she's definitely like cool and like you could tell like she's like among the popular girls Linda is, but she's doing some babysitting and
she's good in any hood.
Yeah, she seems to me like the most actual like realistic character.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Annie, top notch.
Oh yeah.
And Annie is feeling horny for Paul.
Paul.
Much like in the horror trope, women who have sex are going to get the axe. This sets up Annie's unfortunate death.
Oh.
Annie gets the call from her beloved Paul.
Booty.
Who seems so cool. He got grounded for throwing eggs.
Oh, we'll speak about the quality of these men here in a second. Apparently, in 1978, you just had to have a penis.
Yeah. Well, also that's probably why Ben Tramer sounds so cool. It's because like all the rest of these guys are so lame.
Yeah.
And it's like Ben Tramer, the only thing we know is that he went out drinking with Mike Godfrey. So
yeah, it's fucking sick, dude. He's having a great night. I'd like to imagine Ben Tramer had the night of his life.
Oh yeah. Did you get drunk? Nobody's ever been that.
That night, Ben Tramer had 5 beers, dude.
Yeah.
5
Insane.
beers.
No one's ever had 5 beers.
Coors Lights.
Oh my, no.
No, it was Illinois. Dude. It was probably
full
PBR.
Coors.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, she gets the call from Paul, who was grounded, but for some reason his parents left, and a kid that's throwing eggs, he's probably could be trusted to be home alone. But his parents left, like every parent in this movie does.
Makes sense.
And she, is informed that he's going to be able to leave, but of course he asks her to pick him up, even though he can easily walk up there. Anyhow,
like a man.
So Annie is going to pick up Paul. She drops off Lindsay, the girl that she's watching with Lori.
Right.
And she is singing a song about how awesome Paul is. And then she gets into the car.
It's a good song too.
My Paul. And then
that was so good.
Hey, I just want to say really quickly, Ben Tramer would pick you up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He would not make you go pick his ass up.
So she gets into the car and she's about to start it, and then she's noticing that the windows are like fogged up.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah. And then we get Michael starting to choke her. And then
lucky lady. I mean, what?
Hey now, whoa.
And then again, talking about sort of like the minimalist, like gore. It's implied that he takes a knife and slits her throat, but you don't really see it. You don't see any blood or anything like that.
She just falls on the horn, right?
Yeah, like her eyes kind of like go back into her head, and then she like falls onto the horn, and then the horn and her head is just resting on the horn as it continues to blare. That's the end of Annie, unfortunately.
Yeah,
poor Annie.
The unfortunate early end. We didn't get enough time with Annie.
Yeah. Again, like I think her death like mattered. Like it was not. It's not something we were rooting for.
No, absolutely.
Well, and just from coming from like the female perspective, that's something that I've been taught to fear like my whole life. Before, almost every time before I start driving, I always check my back seat. That the boogeyman has just been like instilled in my consciousness. Like there is the chance that somebody is hiding underneath your car and is going to slice your ankles, and then there's a chance that there's a guy in the back of your car just waiting for you to let your guard down and kill you. They are literal urban legends for a reason.
Oh yeah.
This is like something that, especially as a woman, I've been taught to like keep my guard up about and for.
These real fears, these everyday fears, unfortunately, come true in the form of, as you said, a literal boogeyman. Michael Myers here. He literally embodies that boogeyman thing to this little kid. Because right after Annie is murdered by Michael, he fucking does like the coldest shit and just like walks with her dead body out around. Which, does this house not have a back door?
I guess not.
Or is he just flexing on everyone?
Look what I just got.
I mean, when you think about it, like Michael's not exactly subtle.
No.
There's the scene where they're walking and then he's just like standing by the bush and then he just walks behind the bush.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
he's brazen.
I think it was a TikTok. I don't know. But there was like, it was the scene where Lori's in her bedroom and she's looking down into the backyard and he's just staring up at her.
Yeah.
And then in the TikTok, it's like she's staring and then he's staring back and then she cuts to her staring, and then it cuts to him like doing jumping jacks, and then like him like mowing the lawn. Like,
I'm right here.
So I wouldn't be surprised to say if he's just like, like I'm not trying to hide.
Right. I want people to see.
Yeah.
But it's also just I just bring that up because Annie, to get to her car, which is in the garage in the back, She goes, walks around the house, forgets her keys, and walks back around the house and goes in the front door. And I'm like, why did she do that? Is there not there? To me, there's just not a back door in this house, and it's always just been very confusing to me. So maybe is that probably Michael just, he doesn't give a shit. He's taunting everyone, begging everyone to come try him because he knows they can't touch him. But we've had our first death. Speaking of death, the next section, I'm just going to say it because I like the little titles I made.
He's proud of his work.
Line from the movie, Loomis, death has come to your little town. While all this is going on, we haven't really talked about what Sheriff Mark Wahlberg and Loomis have been doing.
Now I want a burger. Now you're just...
And I'm just going to say, in my opinion, not doing a whole lot.
No, he's a cop.
Well, not just the cop, but Loomis himself.
Oh, absolutely.
And I get that
he scared some kids at the Myers house, but that's about it.
Got their ass. I don't know. It's just funny because Loomis is sort of like the most active protagonist, but he just kind of doesn't do anything for most of this movie.
No, he just like pontificates about how Michael is the devil.
Yeah.
It's just like, he had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
In my mind, he's just accosting civilians of Haddonfield the whole night, running up on them and like, I'd like to tell you about this evil person that's in our town right now.
It's a scarier version of Mormon missionaries. Just get on my space.
I was gonna say a little like Cassandra-y, like from the Iliad, like he's trying to be this prophet, but he like, and what he's saying is true, but can't really do anything, and people won't necessarily. I mean, I guess the cop believes it, but like, not enough to really be effective.
Yeah. He believes him in so much as he just kind of wants Loomis to stop accosting civilians. Yeah. It's like, okay, well then go hang out at his house and then I'll be back. And then he goes and has a Wahlburger with government cheese and then joins him again. And he's like, oh, I just got done working out for the 6th time today. Saw my kids for 5 minutes, but it wasn't really in my schedule. I don't know. It was very funny. It's very funny to me because it's not until the very end that Loomis sort of turns around and is like, ah, shit, the car's right there. like
it
how long
happens multiple times.
Yeah. Like at the hardware store.
And then like he's on the phone to like call and say that like he's broken out, and then he turns around and that's where like he discovers the truck of where Michael has killed the guy in the jumpsuit.
At the very least, his power is that he's always right about the area. He's always in the right spot.
He's just a little bit too late.
I think right here is just, for me, this is my big point in the rewatch. Because do I love this movie? Yes. Is it good horror? Yes. Is The Shape, Michael Myers, terrifying? Yes, I think so. But he also, in this first film, does a lot of things that, to me, are a little goofy.
He's a goofy strange guy.
This guy's a jokester. He's playing around a little bit. My number one question, why the hell did he grab that kid? Like, why was he hanging out outside the school? Why did he grab that kid just to be like, fuck you, and then just let him go? I don't know what was going on. What's happening with Mike here?
I don't know.
Is that the scene where they're picking on Tommy Doyle?
Yes.
Like falls on the pumpkin, and I think it's supposed to be Lonnie. Which is only significant because of like the later Halloween movies, but he like runs into Michael Myers and Michael's
he's like, ooh.
I mean, it could be kind of like what Kayla was saying, that like Michael's not necessarily after the kids, but he's still skulking around. Though the kids thing that changes in Halloween 4, but
I figured,
But anyhow, that is kind of like an interesting moment.
It's just kind of funny looking back on it because it's like, were people not concerned about this tall man in a
mask,
stark white mask, walking around and grabbing kids just to like shake them a little and then run off?
Teachers left as soon as that bell rang. There was no supervision on that blacktop anymore.
The adults in Haddonfield, I think in general, I think what they did is they said, Halloween, we go trick-or-treating, and then we all just go hang out in one spot together.
The greatest party of all time. Yeah. It's like adult Halloween has got to just be off the hook.
Adults only, except for Mark Wahlberg and the crazy doctor and that's it.
They're not invited.
Right?
My favorite.
Ben Tramer's going to be there.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Ben Tramer is the party.
Right?
Let's be
He
honest.
hosted it.
There you go. My favorite weird thing that Michael does is when he's about to kill Linda and he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be fun with it and throw on a sheet so look like a ghost.
She's going to think this hilarious.
To be her boyfriend.
Right. So let's get to that because
why, Michael?
Michael hits the jackpot. Not only does he get to murder Annie, but then 2 more victims show up at the house. It's like he Ubered some fucking victims because they just show up. And I think here is the time to talk about it because right before Linda and her boyfriend, what's his name?
God.
Bob.
Of course it's Bob. All of these people are named like they're 55 years old.
Yeah. Right before they go into the house where they're planning to and going to have sex, Bob says something incredibly weird that I did not catch until this last time that caught us completely off guard because they're talking about how they're going to go upstairs and Bob says like, I'll take my clothes off or whatever. You'll take your clothes off. And then after we'll take Lindsay's clothes off. And Kayla and I looked at each other like, who the fuck is Lindsay? Because again, I'm not paying attention to anything.
No.
I Google it. And by my surprise, Lindsay is the fucking little girl that Annie was babysitting. And I'm like, Linda, this the type of man.
Oh my God.
that you're with? Like,
and she just laughed.
Yeah, she's like, fucking hilarious. Like, what are you talking about? So I would dare say there's only one death that I feel kind of okay with. And it's fucking Bob.
Which is probably the best death.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why maybe they did that because they wanted you to feel like, hey, Bob can go.
He had it coming. Yeah. He had it coming.
Oh man.
I think personally, like, Bob's death is probably like the scariest scene in the movie, because he's downstairs, he's getting a beer. Of course, by the way, we do have to mention that prior to him going downstairs, we see about a 45-second sex scene between he and Linda, where they're just kind of like, they're just writhing around a little bit.
They're essentially dry humping.
Yeah, and then he rolls off of her, and then she's like, "That was amazing."
Like, Linda.
No, it wasn't. Stop lying to this man.
My partner, like, we were watching it last night, and she's just like, I highly doubt that.
Yeah. Like, no, it's because she doesn't know any better.
That's true. Yeah. So anyhow, he goes downstairs to get beers, and then notices that the back door is open, and he thinks Annie maybe has come back home. Closes the door after not hearing anything, and then he's kind of hearing like these weird sounds. And, he checks in one area, and then he goes and checks the pantry, and then he's like, all right, I know where you are. Come on out, and opens it. And then Michael just comes straight at him.
Gets his ass.
And lifts him up, stabs him with the world's sturdiest knife to be able to hold him up on the wall.
And also, apparently, a knife that's longer than it looks.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that knife is gonna have to be a lot longer than it is to be able to.
It might as well have been a sword. Like,
he should have got his claymore and ran Bob through.
Of course, so like this moment's great. Like it's great tension. It's a really kind of creative death, but it's an iconic moment too because, and this I think leads into the humor a little bit, like. That head tilt that Michael does.
Oh,
he's
like
so staring at his work, and he's like,
great.
It's kind of funny because he looks like a kid, right? He's just like,
I did it good.
Like, but he's like, yeah, like I did well. I'm like admiring my art, sort of thing. Like, it's a kind of like super subtle humor that is still like a little menacing that works well, and it's also like it's humor like First Nightmare on Elm Street, where like Freddy is doing similar sort of stuff, but then like later on in the Nightmare series, he just becomes a stand-up comedian, and it's not as effective. But this is like that kind of weird like horror humor moment that it's like Michael does seem to have some more self-awareness than Loomis would think he does.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I guess he was talking to someone, cracking jokes with someone in the asylum because he's got a sense of humor. let's get to the jokester that is Michael. Because, I mean, Kayla, why don't you continue and explain what happens? Because after he kills Bob, what does this man do?
I don't even know where I think he pulls the sheet out of like the laundry or something.
Probably.
Anyway, he walks upstairs with the sheet on like a ghost.
Mm-hmm. And he put Bob's glasses on.
Puts them on, a ghost needs to see. Poor Linda. She's just like, oh, we're like playing. She's like trying to be all coy and like cute and hot and whatever.
Showing them
and
babs.
He's just not talking at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes it kind of funnier because he's just, look at this weirdo just standing at the foot of the bed as her tits are out.
Yeah. He's probably like,
you gonna do something? Where's my beer? Like,
Linda, very strange that she would think. I mean, Bob is very strange, but I don't know why she would be so tolerant of him not speaking. I feel like she should have turned things up really quickly and noticed that things were wrong much faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious to me, especially on this rewatch, that Mike was like, I know what I'm going to do. This next one, why don't I jazz this up a bit?
Well, like the mask, right? Like he's wearing a mask and that's like a sense of like anonymity. And it's kind of like you were saying, like he becomes the shape. He's not like Michael Myers the human. He's the shape when he has the mask on. So like the mask totally makes sense why he wears that. But you're already wearing a mask. Why do you need like a ghost sheet on over too?
Yeah. He's just like, and it shows that he was like paying attention, obviously, but he, is like, oh well, he went down to get a beer, so I'm gonna do it, and she's gonna think I'm him. I'm gonna wear the glasses because that's fucking funny because I'm Bob. And
I'm Bob.
He gives us a pretty simple Halloween costume. As Kayla said, Linda, she makes a phone call. Does she make it or she gets it? Either way, she's on the phone and she's talking to Lori and she gets choked out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
At the very least, I feel like he should have wrapped that cord around her neck instead of just going straight across, but that's just whatever.
We're critiquing the technique of a serial killer.
Mike Myers, next time try a little bit harder. Make it more realistic. By God, it's the shape. Your friends are dead, and now it's Lori versus the boogeyman.
It's interesting because the setup is supposed to be that, the two licentious girls are now gone, and now we have the bookish virginal Lori who is fighting against the shape, who's fighting against the monster, and it's here that she shows her wit and her like ingenuity by using, and then I'm giving like kind of a sardonic like
we love
film critique of it. So it's like, what objects does Lori use to attack Michael Myers? Well, it's all the objects of domesticity, right? So it's the sewing needle, right? Then it's a hanger from a closet, right? So those are the two things that she uses to attack Michael and to temporarily stun him. She does not kill him, right? Because
not even close.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
No, you cannot. And it's hilarious. I just want to come in and say, because Kayla and I were going back and forth, and it's very funny because Michael, obviously, he's unstoppable. He keeps coming and coming and coming, but it's almost like if he were like a video game D&D character, he would have like 5 HP. Because he gets hit once and he's fucking down.
Oh yeah.
He gets stabbed, and granted, he's stabbed in the neck, but he's just boom, on the ground. Wait about 30 seconds though, and this man is back up and coming at you. Same thing with the coat hanger. Gets poked in the eye, boom, and then fucking just hits right back up.
Oh yeah.
He's coming after you. It's just very funny because it's like, is he unstoppable? Yeah, but also you can stun him for a good little bit.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Well, also, and I was kind of joking about it, and then it's actually just like true. So when Michael gets up, he doesn't just like, ooh, like, come to.
Right.
He does like the Undertaker, boom,
like the rise.
Pops up.
Yeah.
And I actually realized, like I remember an interview with the actual Undertaker, and he said he got that from Michael Myers. Like he said that was actually meant to be like a callback to him, like him just popping up.
I also associate that with Frankenstein's monster. Is that correct?
Yeah, he put his hands up though.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it was arms. Yeah, there is a subtle difference there.
And similar.
Mark Calloway.
Mark Calloway put you down. Similarly to the Undertaker with that like gong, it does play that little like when he rises up, right? So he's got his music, man. You can't stop him.
So, giving like the sardonic film critic take on like Laurie. Laurie needs to be a little more observant. Like, she thinks that she's killed him the first time, tells Tommy and Lindsay that, and Tommy's the one's like, well, you can't kill the boogeyman, which is actually poignant. And then of course he, stomps up the stairs from there. And then you have after she pokes him in the eye with a coat hanger, you have her keep her back completely turned to Michael as she's on the phone trying to call for help. And of course, we're watching as he gets up and he lumbers towards her. Michael's a little woozy here, so he's not
a little slow.
Should be an easy kill on her, but Laurie's real. Like Laurie's actually just being, I think, a normal. Like she makes mistakes. Like you're not going to have all your wits about you in that situation. She's resourceful. She's grabbing for whatever she can. So I think like that's my actual interpretation is like Laurie's just reacting the way that like a normal human being would. She's observant in some ways and still kind of a teenager in others. So.
Also, I would just like to insert the caveat. This girl took head trauma immediately. She fell off the top of the stairs and landed off of a balcony. Like, and she was still able to, I was like, I was telling Eddie, I was like, she would be dead or unconscious.
She got fucking
within the first 10 seconds of this interaction.
She got, but she got up, kept it pushing.
Couldn't be me.
Fights off this man.
I am no final girl.
One thing we have to talk about is when Loomis shows up, we get another iconic scene. Because Loomis runs up, he's finally there to do something. Does the sheriff do anything? Absolutely not.
He's a cop.
Exactly. Realistic depiction of a cop. Loomis shows up, puts a couple in Michael's chest. And at this point, Michael's been what? Stabbed in the neck.
Stabbed in the eye.
He's been shot twice, 3, 4, 5. We were counting him out. He gets shot a few fucking times. Falls out of a second story balcony. Flatbacks onto the ground. So far, this movie's been pretty grounded. As Michael kept coming, yes. But thus far, you could survive the things that Michael has been through. But then when Loomis looks over the ledge, where is he? This man is fucking gone. And the music swells. And Laurie, I was telling Kayla, I took it as like, obviously it could be just Laurie. It's all hitting her at once. But I kind of took it as they meant it to be like Laurie is realizing, as Loomis is realizing, that he's not dead and that he's somehow, some way has gotten away. And I mean, Bird, the beauty of what they do with this moment is so good.
Yeah, it cuts from Laurie and Dr. Loomis to all of the sets, all of the places that Michael has been. And so you get these like empty images of like the living room, of the exterior of the house. You get of like the laundry room, like you get all of these exteriors of where, or all of these still images of where Michael has been, and they're empty, and the music is at a fever pitch, and you hear Michael breathing the entire time. You hear that like labored, I'm wearing a mask kind of breathing, and it just signifies that he has been everywhere and he could be anywhere. So he's kind of like omnipresent in like the final moments of the movie.
And then it just fucking like ends. It just cuts suddenly to credits. And I think that somewhere they said that was a last minute decision to have that ending and to show essentially all these B-roll shots and then have the music and then have the breathing, because they wanted to leave the audience with the idea that he could be outside, they wanted the audience to be afraid walking to their cars. A stroke of genius. I think it was effective.
Woo-hoo.
Very short credits roll, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I noticed that. It really was a bare bones production.
Mm-hmm.
Masters of the craft.
Oh, yeah. I'm always a fan of opening credits.
Yeah.
And this franchise does such a good job. From what I've seen, they do a really nice job of setting the tone. And then, I don't know, I've just always liked opening credits.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of the franchise, this is a movie franchise that, much like most horror, it's always the joke that, oh, how many movies of that do they have? 20, 30 of them? This franchise has a ton of sequels, not only to the main original one, but as we've said, there's reboot after reboot. I think we could talk a little bit about what happens to Michael, what happens to this franchise, and where are we now? Because the first one, even with that ending, was very grounded, and things quickly got into the more mystical.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like Halloween 1 through 4 a lot. Oh, okay. I like Halloween 1,
3.
2.
Yeah,
I meant Halloween 1, 2, and 4, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Halloween 3. I can give you my take on that if you'd like. But
well, I mean, I think you should, because it's like, maybe for people who don't exactly know, Halloween 3, what happened? Why is it so bad? It's weird because it doesn't even feel like it fits.
So Halloween 3, basically John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, who's one of the producers that was behind like bringing forth, the Halloween franchise. They envisioned Halloween as being a franchise that had grown beyond Michael Myers as a character. Like they viewed Michael in 1 and 2 as a story, but they didn't plan Halloween to just be about Michael Myers. They thought it was going to be like these different stories that connected to Halloween night.
Right.
So in the third one, which is called Season of the Witch, they tell a completely different story that is not related to Michael Myers or Haddonfield, Illinois in any way, shape, or form. It is basically about this Halloween mask company that is using some sort of ancient druidic curse
God,
like sacrifice these kids, and they're trying to get them all to buy these masks. And they buy these masks, and then they have this like super annoying Silver Shamrock, this super annoying song about Halloween, and everybody tuning into a Halloween special, and then like the kids watch it, and then the mask like melts into their face.
Oh, goosebumps.
Right. And so when it came out, it was panned. Everybody hated it.
Yeah.
And they hated it because Michael Myers was not in it. They're like, what the hell? Like, this is Halloween. This is supposed to be about Michael Myers. And so the film was pretty much like dismissed. I think that was the end of John Carpenter's involvement with Halloween until the 2018 reboot. I think that was his first time that he came back to it.
Yeah.
It was blanketly like dismissed, and then Halloween 4, it was called The Return of Michael Myers because
he's back, baby.
Back,
oh right? God, let them know that he's in this one.
Exactly. So
little front center on the poster.
So, but what's happened with Halloween 3 over the years is, it went from being like unfairly dismissed because people are like, well, Michael Myers wasn't in it, and therefore it's a bad movie, which I thought as a kid, but like, getting older, that's not a really fair way to treat like the movie as a whole. Sure. So it started developing this sort of like cult following where people are like, actually Halloween 3 is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
And so people, started defending it and talking about how much they liked Halloween 3. And now I feel like it's kind of become this sort of like hipster thing where it's just like, actually Halloween 3 is the best Halloween movie.
Oh boy. I don't know.
And it's like, look, I understand that it's unfair to say it's bad just because Michael Myers isn't in it, but watch that movie on its own merit, and it's boring. It's super boring. It is not that interesting. Like, I love Tom Atkins. Like, that movie's also weird because like Tom Atkins is just like hooking up with anything and everything like very easily.
There we go.
But it's boring. It's a boring movie. It's a great concept. I actually like the concept a lot, but it doesn't work. So it's like I don't think it's fair to say it's bad just because Michael Myers isn't in it, but don't be that hipster that's like, well, actually, it's the best Halloween movie. It's not.
You get out of my house.
Yeah.
You take your stuff and you leave. That's fucking funny. Yeah, I mean, it definitely suffered from that expectation that I think a lot of moviegoers or just fans of anything do these days, is you build something up in your head as to what it's going to be. And if it's anything different, you're just like, well, this is stupid.
Michael's like that. He's sort of like the comfort in the movie in some ways. Like he's, you know what to expect. And it's like an old friend in like a bizarre sort of way. But like, so to answer your original question about like where the franchise goes. So like, you know, the second one, we are introduced to Ben Tramer. But in the second one,
legend,
it's revealed that Michael and Laurie are actually brother and sister. That's kind of like the big reveal / twist in the second one.
Hey, yo.
I won't go into like the plot, but there's like a large like fire that happens, like a silent fire. Loomis gets burned.
Oh, Loomis.
Halloween 4. I love Halloween 4. I think it's awesome.
He's back, baby.
So Jamie Lee Curtis has decided she doesn't want to be a part of these movies anymore. She doesn't want to be just defined as a scream queen because, you know, she's doing Prom Night and Terror Train and all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
So they introduce basically Laurie Strode's niece, Jamie, who's played brilliantly by Danielle Harris. She's awesome as a child actress, just like plays this sort of like adorable, like pitiful girl so well. And so basically like Michael, instead of chasing Laurie Strode, he's now chasing Laurie Strode's niece, which in turn is his niece. Jamie. And that happens in 4 and it happens in 5 as well. 5 starts to set up this super weird storyline that has to do with like this ancient like curse thing. And then that leads into Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, starring Paul Rudd.
My guy.
Paul Rudd.
Look at us, huh?
Look at us. And that's where I think the franchise really starts to lose its way. So I'm not a fan of The Curse of Michael Myers. And then, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a pause for a few years until Halloween H2O. And Halloween H2O is not a reboot, but it's kind of a reset. And I love Halloween H2O. I think it's great. So Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
Right.
And in that one, Halloween 4, 5, and 6 don't exist. Only Halloween 1 and 2 have happened.
Yeah.
This takes place 20 years later.
H2O.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, who is still Michael Myers' sister, takes on an assumed name. She has an adult or a high school son, Josh Hartnett, and Michael, 20 years later, tracks them down to this like super private school in Southern California and stalks them and Michelle Williams and LL Cool J.
And also LL Cool J
is hilarious.
It's actually
good.
I love Halloween H2O. It's very effective. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Then we get into Halloween Resurrection.
Oh boy.
Which is with Busta Rhymes and you know, it's basically like a reality show, takes place in the Myers house.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like they're doing Ghost Hunters, but with like Mike Myers, and it's like, oh, what could happen? What could happen is he shows up. You fucking.
He shows up. Yeah.
He sees they're streaming at his house, and he's like, "Motherfuck, where's my car?" This man also learned how to drive by himself, so give him
that was
props.
A funny joke that Loomis makes.
Yeah.
So then that kind of ends like the first round of like the franchise, and then
Jesus Christ.
First go at it.
And then Rob Zombie, he takes over and he does complete like the first reboot of the original Halloween, which had some like okay stuff. Like I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. But it's a more gory, like brutal version of Michael.
It's very much Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
He likes his gore, he likes all that. It's just, you know, the infamous thing of where you have Michael Myers like talk and he does it as a kid. And like it's sort of like it does that thing where it has to explain why does he do this. It gives like a definite reason why he's doing all this stuff. And it's just, I don't know. Like I said, in some movies it's good, but for me, for Mike Myers, it's just totally against kind of what I like about him.
Show don't tell.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he gets 2 of these.
Yeah, and the second one is trash. Like it's
Right. And then once again, they said, "Hey, we're going to reboot it again, and we're going to do the same thing we did with Halloween H2O, where this new one retcons and gets rid of all the other ones except for the original."
Yep. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I love like Halloween 2018. I enjoy. Like,
oh, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think, as I alluded to earlier, Halloween Kills comes out, and this one, I think partially it's due to the expectations of people. Go back to the whole season of the witch argument. People expected a certain film out of this. And there are parts that are super goofy about it. Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Which I can acknowledge is not very great. It is funny. It's stupid. It's like, why'd they do that? You can get why they made their decisions, but Halloween Kills is extremely divisive. We don't need to go into it too much because it's still fresh. I just want to say, for me, I loved that the Shape was on full blast in this fucking movie, and it really made him, like, he was dangerous, but it made him. The ending scene for me is where it did that thing where it elevates him from a man into a myth, and it's so fucking sick. To me, I liked it. Is the movie perfect? No, but it got me amped up, and it brings us to Halloween Ends, which this episode is coming out a couple weeks after that movie comes out. Not to date the episode too hard, even though it dates it super hard. But we'll see.
The thing you hate doing, you just did it.
I don't know. It's a good little bit.
I
mean, it's Halloween. We can do this. You could fantasy book Halloween Ends. Not only like what you would like to see in it, but what you would like to see for the franchise. Because I can just quickly say, if I were to fantasy book Halloween Ends, I would have both Laurie and Mike Myers kill each other.
Yep.
And then I just want some finality to where it's over. And I know it's never going to officially be over. Like, Halloween's not going to go away. Yeah. It's not going to go away forever. But I definitely want at least like a decade, like a 10-year hiatus to where we just leave it alone.
Let people rest.
Because it's going to come back. That's the fact of the matter. They're not going to kill this cash cow.
No.
But I think a good 10-year, let people forget, and then they could do what Hollywood does and reboot, and who knows, it could be good. Halloween 2018 was good.
Yeah.
But I think it needs a rest.
Yeah. Michael is such an icon. I think, Jamie is even more iconic in some ways. And I really do think that she needs to go out on her own terms. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is getting up there in age. And, I don't think she needs to push herself any further than she already has. She's already earned her flowers and then some. So like you said, Eddie, I don't think there's any other way to end it other than having that real finality. I mean, it's called Halloween Ends. It's got to end, right?
It's in the title.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it needs a rest. Yeah. Also, like, you can't like promote that it actually is going to end and then not deliver on this. I mean, like, literally, like, the marketing for this movie is just the movie says it ends. It doesn't even say Halloween, it just says it ends. Like which I'm all for. Like, I love it, but like, it needs to. The Blumhouse version of Halloween needs to be done, and that's not to say like I liked Halloween Kills more than most, but I do think that that's partially just me loving Halloween in general. I think that Halloween Ends needs to like bring finality to Laurie Strode and to Michael Myers for now. You want to resurrect him, not in a Busta Rhymes way, then like I'm fine with that later on down the road. But like I will say this. So like, you remember they did like a Nightmare on Elm Street reboot in 2011 or something like that.
With the guy who played Rorschach.
Right. Yeah. So you had somebody else playing Freddy Krueger instead of Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. and people really didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I get that because there's like a comfort and like, Freddy Krueger is defined by like Robert Englund, playing him. But what's interesting about that is I actually don't like, I love Robert Englund and I love Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't really agree that the guy playing Freddy Krueger was the problem. The problem was Nancy. The girl playing Nancy did not have what Heather Langenkamp had. Like, Nancy to me is the best final girl of all time.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm bringing this up for a specific reason. The reason I'm bringing it up is if you're going to, reboot something, like, people expect they expect certain things.
Yeah.
I think that after this third one, I don't think that you're going to be able to make somebody happy without Jamie Lee Curtis or John Carpenter being involved in this. And John Carpenter's is up there.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee, I think she's done everything that she can as Laurie. I think that the character has been exhausted. So, I think it's time to put it to rest. I hope it does actually end.
Yeah. It's a curtain call. And I love curtain calls.
It should be, yeah. And it's just funny because as a franchise, I think this one the most out of all the other horror franchises has, like, they've realized that, hey, we've gone a little too far in some ways. Like, I mean, they literally retconned their own timeline twice.
Yeah.
Not just once, and then rebooted it twice. So I think that's where we're all just sort of saying, like, they just need to let it rest. Really, whatever the next thing is, they really need to think about it and put some serious thought, and they have to be okay with the fact that John Carpenter's not going to be involved. Jamie Lee Curtis isn't going to be involved. So there needs to be time to where people are going to get over that. And either through natural means, like, the unfortunate passage of time, and it does to everyone. Maybe we lose John Carpenter, or, Jamie Lee Curtis retires from acting. But it's going to take those things to where people are like, well, he's not going to be there. There's no way he can. Or there's no way Jamie Lee Curtis can do it. Because until that happens, I think a lot of fans are going to be like, no, they have to be involved or else I'm not watching it. So it just needs time.
Yeah. And that can happen, right? Like, I think of, like, you think of something like Dracula.
Yeah.
And people really think about, like, Bela Lugosi playing Dracula in the 30s, and of course, like, I love that.
Yeah.
But, like, Dracula stories work without Bela Lugosi, and they actually worked before him too. Like, Nosferatu is a better movie in my opinion than Dracula is. And then the 70s version of Nosferatu is amazing. So, like, that can happen. It just has to have the right amount of requisite time.
Yeah. You got to give people time to be okay with things changing.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that note, let's get down to the DTR. We've changed since we first met Halloween. So let's define the relationship.
So my relationship, as I mentioned at the beginning, is very much new to Halloween. I don't have the nostalgia pop, as we call it, with this film or this franchise, really. So coming at it from the adult perspective, I think this movie has a lot of merit still to this day. Does it do some of the things that I now personally consider cliche? Yes, but that's because I'm watching it 30 years in the future from when it was originally created. Sure. So I'm coming at it from a different lens than probably most people who've seen this movie. I really appreciate the kind of, I don't want to say bootstrap mentality, but the grassroots effort that took place in order to get this film running. And there is a certain level of familial connection that I tend to prescribe to this movie as a whole. You can tell that the people involved in this project really do have a lot of love for these characters and the story that they're telling. That being said, my relationship with Halloween is not the strongest, but it is a very, like, appreciative one. It's kind of like the elderly neighbor that you say hello to every time you go to get the mail and you bump into each other, like, oh, how you doing? Good to see you. Sure. It's something that has been in the background of my life for a while, whether that's on a conscious or subconscious level. So am I show dependent on this film? No, but I definitely understand how and why people are. And I have a great appreciation and respect for that. So,
yeah, for myself, I mean, you probably know what's coming the way I talked it up 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. But for me, despite all the other horror films I've seen, and I've seen a lot in recent years, and a lot of horror films that have been scarier than this, or newer films that have amazing acting all around, or the special effects are really well done to where it all looks super real and everything's just amazing. The passage of time, when you compare films from 2022 to 1978, there's just some things that will improve. Despite all that, to me, Halloween just has a special place in my heart. It was one of the first real horror movies, horror classics. I think it's the first horror classic I ever saw. And for me, it's definitely my favorite horror classic. Overall, I'd still put it as my number 2 horror film ever. But I don't know. It's hard for me to, and I say that The Bewitched is number 1, but it's almost hard for me to say that because I have such a connection with Halloween. I love the franchise. It's so much fun. Even the ones that aren't that great are fun. I love watching a fun horror movie when it just gets ridiculous. And obviously some of it is very goofy, even in this first one. I really love the new trilogy. I know that it has some missteps in the sequel, Halloween Kills, but that first 2018 one was amazing, and it sort of revitalized the love that I have for Michael Myers, because for me, he's my guy. He's my horror icon. He's the one that I like the most. And it's by far, he's leaps and bounds ahead for me. He's my guy. For me, he's got the best theme song. He's got the best look. I love the way he moves and the way he just stands there. I just feel just the fact that I can see an image of Michael Myers just standing by a bush, and it just fills me with all these thoughts and this dread and this nostalgia and all this. That for me means I'm 100% show dependent on this one. I love watching it every year. I love seeing all the new ones. And like I said, I hope that when it ends, if we do eventually get a sequel, I can't wait to watch another one and see what happens with Michael Myers in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was trying to think back to why I want to talk about Halloween, and it wasn't the first horror movie I saw. It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
It is not my number 1 favorite horror movie of all time. That's either The Thing or Suspiria.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But I think it's probably the one I've seen the most. And I think it's the film that to me is the most synonymous with the term and genre of horror. If you were to say horror, what's the first thing I think? I think of Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. So I think he is synonymous with the genre. And the thing that I love about Michael Myers is, we talked about what the franchise turned into, and, in some ways it kind of gets goofy, but Michael himself never gets to the level of goofiness that the other real big slashers do. Mm-hmm. He still maintains this mystique. So Freddy Krueger starts off as this weird, grimy sort of humor, and then he turns into a stand-up comedian, and then he just kind of has all these ridiculous one-liners. Pinhead even does that, which is really weird because Hellraiser is so different.
I heard the new one's good.
I'm excited to watch it, actually. I've never been a huge Friday the 13th fan. I think what Friday the 13th does well is more special effects than it does actual story. But I mean, Jason in space and Jason punching a guy's head off, that sort of thing.
Fantastic.
They become caricatures of themselves, and Michael never really does, even if other people around him in the story kind of does. Michael is still Michael. Michael is still this blank slate, and he's so mysterious, and you can kind of project so many things onto him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Halloween set the standard for what the slasher genre would become, but also the standard for, I think, what horror is and what it has been. So, to me, it's probably the most significant horror movie in my life, even if I don't necessarily think it's the best at everything. I think the sum of all of its parts make it, put it onto the Mount Rushmore of horror. So I absolutely would say that. I'm not scared of Michael Myers. Michael Myers, kind of like what Kayla was saying, but in a different way. Like Michael is sort of like comfort food for me. Like, Halloween is kind of been ever present for a long time in my life. So I would say that I'm certainly still Sho-Dependent.
Gotta get that branding in there.
We love to hear it. I mean, much, I don't know, with the tagline of Saw, it's funny that Saw used it because it's like, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. I feel like if it's Halloween, it must be Halloween.
It must be Halloween.
Every year, I gotta watch it.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. And before we go any further, thank you so much to our guests, our good friend Bird, for coming on, really breaking it down, really sort of, as I feel like we all do when we go on this, we sort of bare our soul a little bit with why we like the things that we do. And it's funny, I was telling Kayla earlier before we record, I was like, I'm excited that Bird's going to be on because he's so much better at explaining things than I can. It's like, I know he's going to break things down, and I'm going to be thinking like, that's exactly what I feel. But he's going to say it smarter. So thank you for coming on.
Yay, an intelligent person on the podcast.
Much like Donald Pleasance, you add the gravitas.
Podcast.
That was so nice, Eddie.
Oh, But hey, if you like what you heard here, please give us a follow, download the episodes, and spread the word. Tell all of your slutty friends and your and your one virgin who's gonna stick around. They're gonna be the final girl, and just clean up all your bodies after the bloodshed has finished. That you all can find the Sho-Dependent Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to podcasts. I have a feeling I know the answer, but Bird, is there anything you would like to plug and or a final message here on the pod? What would you like to say?
I mean, nothing that I want to plug personally.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just plug, like, because we were talking about pretty big horror movies here.
Yeah.
If I could plug like a smaller production horror movie that is worth your time, check out the movie Horror in the High Desert. Don't look up anything about it. Like, it's on Amazon Prime. Just go and watch it. Don't look up anything about it. If you're interested in like true crime and horror, it's just, don't look anything up. Just watch Horror in the High Desert. So I'm plugging a smaller.
There you go.
There you go.
I love to hear
a little suggestion for the end of spooky season.
Absolutely. We'll have to check it out ourselves. I know, it's sad. But I remember you saying that, so we will definitely have to check it out ourselves. And hopefully we can get a little bit more views on that thing. But anyways, if you would like to follow the podcast ourselves, follow on Twitter, follow on Instagram. That is at SHO-Dependent Pod. If you'd like to follow myself, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch at Victor V. Sweet. And my love, my other half, where can you be found?
Not babysitting. Not doing that shit anymore. Also, you can find me on Twitter at DJ Vivich.
All right. And with that, we have but one final little bit of information for you. It is our opportunity to tell you to save the date, because our next episode, I gotta ask, do you remember?
Remember who?
Because I remember. I remember yearly, monthly, weekly, and honestly daily. Because that's the next episode. We take a little trip down to a little football town where one man unites everyone into the love of football. And not only does he do that, but he cures segregation in the process. Because it is time to remember the Titans.
Woohoo!
I fucking love this movie so much.
I know you do, and I have forgotten almost all of it.
Well, you better remember, because it's time. All right, if you do the honors, Bird, you could hit him with the last words.
It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.